Modern women are testing men to their limits.
That for me and for
than going to the home you worked your back off for, to pick up the kids for your weekend, and another man is sitting in your lazy boy watching your big screen TV. To all you young men, think about it, just don't do it. A girlfriend is just as good, and if things do not work out, you still get to keep what is yours. You don't have to watch another man enjoy what you worked for.
When women stepped out on their husbands, they were married and they had sex with another man, that all of these women, well, the majority of them, like 70%, reported lower satisfaction in the marriage. Men who were married and cheated, men who were married and did not cheat, they reported the exact same satisfaction in the marriage. Generally, when men cheat, it's not because they want to end the relationship. Generally, when women do, it is because they want to end the relationship. That tends to be the end.
We all know that the legal system is designed to work in favor of women and use men's resources to pay for their financial expenses for the rest of their lives.
If he ever asks you, what do you bring to the table? This is how I want you to answer, exactly like this, yeah? 3, 2, 1. Darling, I am the table. I am the tablecloth. I am the table chairs. I am the menu. I am the cutlery.
How many times do they say the same over and over and over again? They all got it from the same chick, I'm sure, and it just spiraled out of control. If women were being honest, this is what they would say when guys ask, what do you bring to the table? They would say, occasional bedroom fun. I might cook you a meal from time to time, but other than that, I'm gonna be a huge burden and a drain on your life. And I'm gonna stress you out, and I'm gonna question and challenge you every step of the way for the next 50 or 60 years.
Did you tell the folks that? You bitch.
And then you also got to get along with my family, who's gonna secretly kind of resent you.
Women were never aligned with their men in what they wanted to achieve in life. And there have been many cases where women had actually planned to marry wealthy men, only to divorce them and live off of divorce money without having to work for the rest of their lives. Women have deceived men into marriage, only to take away their resources. A lot of the credit goes to the MGTOW movement that allowed men to share their experiences and opened each other's eyes regarding the true nature of women.
If you actually look at the Steven Crowder situation, this is a man who's been with his wife for like ever, but now she wants a divorce. And one of the things he was saying in his commentary about it was he was like, well, my wife wants a divorce, and even though I don't want a divorce, I guess that's her legal right. And when he's saying it, it just sounds so off, because the implication is that he wishes that it wasn't her legal right. And when you put it like that, that's when it sounds weird. Like, what do you want? To be able to lock your wife in the basement so that she can't leave you? Like, why would you even want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you at the end of the day?
The issue with no-fault divorce is that 90% of the time, the father loses custody of his kids, his house, and half of his money. It has also doubled the rate of male suicide, with divorced men accounting for 2/3 of all suicides in men. Women who divorce their husbands are financially rewarded by the government. We are basically in a position where being a man is almost criminal. A typical divorce or family court judge will deal with one guy each year who is forced to terminate his life because he is unable to follow court rules. What ended the idea and institution of marriage was the promotion of broken families. No-fault divorce was just the thing that took down the last wall, preventing the family unit from breaking from the said promotion of broken families. If the laws were implemented fairly and made sense, things wouldn't be nearly as bad as we are today. In fact, governments do all they can to make things unfair. Just look at common law marriage. Men don't even have to get married to be deemed married by law.
Holy shit, you guys! I'm driving your car, but I just got a notification that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died! Could this year get any f***ing worse? Ruth, you just had to make it to 2021! abortions. I just saw a pro-life sign driving down the road having a mental breakdown. And I was trying to say, all you people are you're so stupid.
I get it. I don't like the two-party system. I think our country's corrupt, and quite frankly, I don't want to vote for Biden. It feels like voting for a Republican. But I'm gonna do it! You wanna know why?
Why?
Because the alternative is a fascist! A fascist is a fascist! Maybe we can have the conversation about dismantling the two-party system when a fascist isn't running! Maybe we can do that later, kiddo! Champ! Chief! Maybe we can talk about it later!
I could feel pain before I was born! It's a baby! Bitch, I was born and I can feel pain! I wish I wasn't born! You're stupid! And I wish I had been aborted!
I have not felt this amount of sinking despair since November of...
The problem men have today is that we've been educated that men and women are equal. There was this sense and understanding that men are providers, where they are the breadwinners for the family, as well as their protectors from other men or from the evils of society. And if you don't provide that role, you'd get kicked out of your community. Or if the man is an alcoholic or an abuser, he'd be divorced. So, that's what divorce used to mean for men. But now, after the feminist no-fault divorce phenomenon, it has changed the game entirely. Now, the men of this generation and the next, who have been brought up in the era of feminism, and who are made to believe that men and women are equal, have to then also pay for child support. They have to pay for alimony, fight for their kids, while the society tells everyone that men and women are equal. That doesn't make sense if you think about it. There's nothing in such a situation. In the modern world, there are almost no legal incentives or benefits for a man to get married or cohabitate with a partner. Everything men used to get from marriage can be received outside of one, now that it is no longer seen as shameful to do so by modern standards. If someone files for divorce, let them leave with what they paid for. Nothing else. No child support, no money. Parents get 50 in custody unless one opts out. But even then, no money to the ex. If one can't afford to raise, house, clothe, and feed kids part-time, then they don't get custody. Also, mandatory paternity tests at childbirth and in the event of divorce. If not his kid, the woman has to make full monetary reparations and $$ for emotional damage and jail time for fraud. For women to want true equality, they must agree to 3 things. 1. Mandatory registration for the draft. 2. For every air-conditioned white-collar job attained, women must equally represent a blue-collar position as well. And 3. Paternity tests at birth. This will solve a lot of people's problems and make it easier for the justice system to see the reality for what it is. This is why more men are online teaching other men about the pitfalls of dating women with children, because they are high risk, and it must be having an effect, because the number of women with kids now online protesting that men don't want to date them has skyrocketed. Where a DIY paternity test is banned, or requires the woman to also agree to have it done, such as in Germany, I think, the man should just go ahead and do it anyhow without the knowledge of the woman, because that is basically what has happened to him. From that point, he will then know for sure, and be able to put steps in place to quietly leave and protect his assets. After being given a taste of power, these women's addiction has become chaotic. With the end of no-fault divorce, there will be a shift in what will happen if a person quits without giving a reason. They are not compensated for departing. This modification eliminates the possibility of her leaving out of boredom or a change of heart, while also eliminating alimony, half the savings, retirement, investments, and the family house. Equaling fewer future voters for politicians to keep their agenda and voters to stay in power. Taxes to pay their salary are also part of the equation. Just like anyone in a position of power, they will do anything to keep it, even if they have to give up a little now to keep a lot later. Just how they like to create problems for a generation and then to come up with solutions, albeit in their favor later for it. Regardless, passport bros up. This is one of the biggest wins for men so far in the US. People seldom got divorced in the past because they required valid justifications, not merely allegations, such as physical abuse, infidelity, or abandonment. I'm very happy that this is back in effect because it forces people to get married out of true love and stay married for a lifetime. And so, feminists are losing their minds and realizing slowly that men don't have the equality these women are seeking. They get treated worse. They such it up and work themselves to misery but don't whine about it. The fact that this thinking is now out in the open, and maybe the young feminists are realizing men don't have it good, they're finally seeing the truth. Feminism and its consequences have been a disaster for modern society. The fact is, no-fault divorce wouldn't be such a big issue if child support and custody plus alimony were more evenly balanced/fair for men. The socioeconomic status of women has risen, making it more difficult for them to satisfy their hypergamy. The residual effect of this has artificially satisfied their biological imperative. The boss, the pet, and the apartment are in lieu of the husband, the child, and the house. This causes a conflict of interest when looking for a suitable mate choice. The government may take away the no-fault divorce, but it will be for the sake of keeping the working class domesticated. We all know that the government needs us to be shitted on and to achieve the bottom lines for the corporate snakes. It's merely for tax purposes. The court system will still favor the conviction of black men and other minorities and will continue to give women the benefit of the doubt. But it'll be interesting to see how it works out. I think men will still travel abroad. This is for younger guys. Remember, under no-fault divorce, if you marry a woman and are together for 10 years or so, all that time you're contributing to the mortgage and investing in a 401k. And if at some point she decides she's found a hotter guy, she can file for divorce, and you lose half of all that you invested while she just moves on to another guy. Don't do it. Numerous creative concepts that initially seem promising end up having terrible unintended outcomes. Uncontested divorce is a prime example. We didn't anticipate that it would encourage women to get married for the money and quickly get divorced so they can keep the money. These days, women openly admit to doing this. In videos, they refer to their first union as a starter marriage, which indicates that they anticipate it will only last temporarily. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.